everyone, it's Jess here from the Scrappy Sisters, and I will be creating a layout with this super cute photo using my homemade kit. So already I'm looking at that blue paper and going, I love it. And the dots in that sparkly, in that dotty paper, sparkly, it's not sparkly at all, in that dotty paper just matches that blue perfectly. But me being the hoarder that I am, I don't want to waste that beautiful ombre blue just to matte the photo, because I know already that I just want to matte the photo. So I'm looking through my scraps to see if I can find any of that gorgeous blue color in a scrap so that I can matte my photo in that beautiful blue without wasting a whole 12 by 12 sheet, because I'm probably going to want to use that ombre as a full background page as I keep scrapping. So I'm just flicking through, having a look at what I've got. Getting distracted by other papers that I find in there. Oh, Thomas the Tank Engine. I could use that. So you can see, just in case anyone was wondering, you can see there how I keep my scraps. So I have got my blue folder out, and in there are all my various shades of blue. They're not sorted in any way, except maybe the biggest ones at the back. And I've got 5, I think, of those. I'm not in my scrap room because my little Tom is sleeping nearest to that room. I don't want to wake him with loud talking, but I've got a blue one, a yellow orange one, a red and pink one, and a green one, and then I've got like your black, grey, white one. I think that's right. So those 2 papers, the spotty one and the brown paper, they're from Echo Park, and they're the autumn collection. Can't remember what it's called, but sorry, something about autumn. So I'm going to use that brown sheet as my back matte. Sorry, not matte, my background, but I'm going to matte it on the white sheet. You can see when I vaguely just flipped that over there that it's got the cutter parts on the other side, if that helps anyone thinking about what this paper might be. So I've just rounded the corners because there is my bowl. I'm going to have a circle on this page. So if I'm going to have a circle, I wanted to soften off those corners a little bit and have those rounded. So this is the back side of the paper the spotty paper. So I'm not using the, oh, you might be able to see on the branding strip there what it's called. All I can see from my screen is the big autumn. I'm not going to use the fox side for this particular layout, but I will keep that aside for a different layout. I am going to use the spotty paper. I've got a beautiful warm cup of tea here, so don't mind me if I pause momentarily to have a little sip of a cup of tea. We all need to drink, don't we? So I am going to chop this circle in half, but not exactly in half. It's more like 2/3 and 1/3 on purpose. So I'm just lining up. I wanted to make sure I was cutting it straight. And I know that sounds so silly because it's a circle and you can't not cut a circle straight, but you can with the pattern on there. So I was lining up the dots to make sure I was cutting down the center line of one of the line of dots. So there's my backing paper that I'm going to matte this photo with. I decided I really loved that Simple Stories I Am blue flowery paper that I've just got my hands on now, because the yellow really tied in well with the yellow spots. And I don't know if you've watched my creating of this kit, I really found it difficult to find yellow that would match in. So because I found this one, I'm like, I'm running with it. So I'm just straightening this up, getting rid of all of the jagged edge from cutting out the flowers that I cut for my layered flowers layout. That is also a video on YouTube, just in case you were wondering. And this paper, I couldn't even tell you. That paper is super, super, super old. It's really thin. I know it was from a paper pad, but I know nothing else about it. Can't remember. And the other one, the one that's got the banner on it, It came in I want to say Creative Memories pack about happy birthdays. It was like a page kit in a prize that I won for a competition. But the page kit didn't really suit my style. So what I decided to do was pull it apart, and I've used way more of the bits and bobs in the page kit by having just adding different things to different pages, not keeping it as a birthday page kit. I've managed to use way more than I think I would have if I had left it as a collection. So that's just me. So popping all those layers together, and really love the colours there. Love that blue. I'm so glad I didn't waste the ombre blue. I will definitely use that on a different layout. I decided that piece was just a little bit too big for what I'm going for here, so I'm just popping that behind. This is some wrapping paper that one of Tom's gifts came in, and I just love the little guys on here, so I'm fussy cutting those out, and you can see there's a little rabbit. Obviously using wrapping paper, this paper is a lot thinner than the quality of scrapbook paper, but the little guys are so cute, I couldn't help myself. I really wanted to include it. So I won't make you watch me fussy cut everything, but there's a little rabbit, and I've also fussy cut a zebra or giraffe actually, and a lion there, you can see. And those are going to be my 3 clusters. So then I jump to doing my title. I know it seems all over the place, but when inspiration hits, I just want to roll with it. And so this title is going to be Beautiful Darling. And usually I put my title onto plastic or something first. I don't in this case, because that is exactly where I want my title to go. I just need to make sure it fits evenly. So I'm just gently sort of sitting it on top of the page so that if I need to wiggle it up, which like I just did, it's not completely stuck down. So I really love that title. It kind of bothers me a teensy tiny bit that the beautiful is smaller than the darling, but you know, we move on from there. So I decided to pull out these really old rub-ons that I had included in my kit. I was going to be really naughty and use scissors to rub them on, and no, go and get a proper icicle stick or something. So I went and got an icicle stick. But as we know, when rub-ons get old, they really didn't work very well. So I'm rubbing and rubbing and rubbing. And I also didn't really think about where I was placing them. They don't show up very well on that dark brown paper. So I do end up putting on 3. A baby over next to the lion, this little pram next to the rabbit, gosh, words. And then I can't remember what the third one was down at the zebra, but one in each spot, but I'm not happy with them. So they end up getting covered up later on. So I've pulled out my ephemera packs that I created for the kit, and I'm just digging through all the gold and just pulling out any bits of gold that I think are cute that I might like to use. Apparently not very much. And then the same with the blue, going through the blue collection. I'm keeping all this in. Hopefully it's of interest to you, so you can just see my thought process and what I do as I am creating a layout. So already you can tell that I'm thinking about covering up the rub-on up the top there with where the pram is, because I'm not happy with it. So I'm already even placing the bits of ephemera that I'm pulling out in spots there. I really wanted to try and use that always. I didn't want that whole sort of bingo card thing, just the always part, because that orange was a really nice match to the orange in the spots. But I don't end up being able to make that work. So just flicking through lots of tags, lots of frames. I'm actually trying to, I don't even mean to, but I realize that I'm really drawn to circles. I've got spotty paper, I've got a big giant circle as the main sort of look of the page. And then as I'm pulling things out, I tend to be pulling round things. And it's not a conscious decision. It's just obviously what catches my eye as looking pleasing on this layout. So this is my yellow pack that I'm going through. And again, just pulling out things that I think look good. And then my black and white pack. I find some more super cute little kitties and bunnies. They are Stampin' Up! Stamp set that I stamped at a card making class. And they're super cute that I thought I would keep those on the layout also. So just having a look at the tiny words I've got in there, but they're not all that tiny and they're not going to work, so they end up getting packed away as well. And just flicking through the collection and seeing what I have in here that might suit my layout. Now, I won't use absolutely everything I pull. I might even need more things. And you can see over to the right-hand side there that I've pulled the full sticker sheets and collections that do match. So I am now beginning to build all of my little clusters there. I really love the idea of having an arrow pointing towards my photo and saying, you know, look over there, that's the little darling or the beautiful darling. So I'm having a little bit of a play around with that. I also really love the yellow in that hello circle. It matches in really well with the spots and it's the perfect size to cover up that rub-on that I no longer want there. So I'm going to put that hello in that cluster and then another one down in the zebra cluster or the bottom left cluster. But obviously now that I've cut it in half and you can't tell that it says hello, I really want to strategically place the other little bits and bobs on there to make sure it doesn't look weird to have half a word that you don't know what it says. I love those little Stampin' Up! Animals, so they are going to make it onto my layout somewhere, probably actually within the clusters with the other animals. And so I'm just working out how I'm going to cover up these other rub-ons that I don't like, and I think it's really cute framing that kitten up there. Obviously that one needs to be a kitten because I can't put two, well, I can put two bunnies together, but I don't want to put two bunnies together. I was looking to see if I could find a really tiny arrow because I thought it might look cool to have a gold arrow sitting on top of the black arrow, but unfortunately I couldn't find one, so I just work with what we've got. So now I'm just sticking this down, just using my double-sided tape. So you can see the baby there, the baby rub-on, and it's not too bad, but it's a little bit hard to read. And if I'm going to cover up like the pram one, I just want to cover them all up. So popping that over there, and then, sorry, I'm just getting a tiny bit distracted because I have got a little 5-week-old munchkin on with me because he wasn't being a happy camper. Sleeping was just a little bit too tricky, so he had to come and sleep with his mum. I'm obviously not sleeping. He likes noise still, this little 5-week-old munchkin. He doesn't like being in his bed by himself far away from everybody. So he is just a little bit fussy in the morning this morning. So if I get distracted now, it's no longer from my cup of tea. It's now because I've got a little munchkin. Anywho, so I decided to pop up the, what's that one over there? The bunny, because I thought that would look cute, adding a little bit of dimension. It looks like it's sitting on top of the arrow. And then I got into the Project Life baby chipboard collection there because they're super cute. And I just love adding that little pop of blue and that little, again, just that having that different dimension happening, I think makes a big difference to a layout. So I'm now, I think that cluster over there is pretty much finished. So I'm now working on the next one. I'm just having a bit of a play with the things that I have. I really like the look of having that hello down there across the bottom of the photo, but it will need to be popped up with foam, which is always a little bit fiddly. Sometimes I wish you could get like, I don't know, foam in a tube or something, like glue, because then you could just, like, it comes out like liquid and then it foams up and goes a little bit hard, maybe. I don't know what I'm thinking of, but like, because then it'd be easier to get it on little tiny spots like that, but obviously it'd have to keep its shape. I patent that. No one steal my idea. I don't know how to invent it, but it's mine. Mine. Anyway, rabbit hole. So building this cluster over here next to the photo, just having a fiddle, seeing what I can get to fit there, trying to keep the colors coordinated. I've got a black arrow, so now I've got the black hello. I've got the wrapping paper lion, so I've got the zebra. I've got the Stampin' Up! Little bunny, so I've got the kitty cat. So I'm really trying to make sure that in each cluster I've kind of got coordinating stuff happening. I've got half the yellow, so I've got the other yellow down there, and then pulling in another piece of chipboard from the Project Life collection. So obviously I couldn't use any more of the hello circle because I've used it all. So I'm using the top of that little card that says memories, I think, or I can't remember, but yeah, I think it says memories. So I'm just shoving that in underneath the layers of my photo. So again, there's my yellow, and then popping this frame using my Tombo's liquid glue, popping this frame around the pram so that I can pop up that kitty cat and then stick the cat in the middle of the frame and just cover 90% of that pram, so you don't even really know it's there. You might see a little bit of blue, but that's okay because the blue ties in with the other colors. I know that I want that bunny there, but I'm not happy with how it looks just sitting like that. There's just too much space happening, so I'm trying to fill in some of the space. I'm thinking I need to mount that bunny on something, but what, I just don't know. And which color, like I thought maybe one of those circles, but that light blue circle is the same color as the duck, so I can't use that. So in the end, I decided to go for this dark sort of teal green color, but I just want the circle. I don't want the banner part, so I'm just chopping those off. It's a little bit difficult to chop chipboard neatly, but you know, we manage. So now I'm just looking at the placement. I don't need the pram to be up the correct way, but I do want to try and cover as much of the pram as I can, and even a little bit of the blue where the banner was if I can as well. And so that blue needs to be covered by the ears of the rabbit, so I need to put that there. I also really wanted that chipboard to go underneath the layers of paper, but the layers of paper are stuck directly to the background page, and the photo itself is stuck up on foam adhesive. I did that off screen and completely forgot to tell you about it. I would not do that again. The photo has a border printed on it from the photo, and it's just way too flimsy. It needs a little bit more stability behind it, so I would back it. Even if I'm just backing it with white paper, I would be backing that photo with paper, or joining it to the beautiful teal mats that we created and putting the whole of the mat and mat and photo up on foam. Yeah, I'm just not happy with how flimsy that photo is. It's sort of, I don't know, flopping. If I wanted to, otherwise I'd need to buy that the big pieces of foam you can cut to size and almost mat the entire photo with a piece of foam, which would be totally fine and which would totally work, but I don't own that product. So using the products that I have at home, I would have had to use an entire roll of my foam tape just to get enough behind that photo to stop it from sort of flopping down. So I pulled in a little red love heart which I like the concept of, but it looks a little stark up there. So I'm hoping that I can sort of tone it down a little bit as I keep going. And I want some more gold because the Beautiful Darling's gorgeous, but there's not much other gold happening on the page. I'm looking at these little cute monkey things. They're quite challenging to use, these. They look cute in the packet, but then when you go to put them on a layout, they don't really match much. So there's a space up there that I really want to fill, but I don't end up being able to put the monkey up there. He goes down a bit lower. And I mat him on one of those gold and green spiky circles. Don't know what you'd call those. I'm having a look in my ephemera packs because I know I need something else to fill that spot, but I just can't work out what it should be. I can't work out what to put up there. As you can see, there's a lot of circles going on in that cluster up above the photo, which is fine by me, but I didn't actually intentionally mean to put a whole heap of circles in there. I'm just looking again at what can I get to work, how can I fill that space? That space is just a bit of an awkward shape. And I decided that I need this rattle. The rattle is going to be the correct shape to go up in here. Still can't work it out, but I've decided it's the shape that I need. So I pull off the duck and swap those over. Still fiddling. I still can't get this right. So no, rattle is moving. I knew this. Obviously, I knew this was going to happen, but I'm just trying to give you my thought process. Rattle is moving. It wasn't working either. Anchor. The anchor fills that space a little bit better. Not a huge amount different to the duck, but a little bit better. So off screen, I put a huge amount of rhinestones. They went all the way around the circles, and then I dotted a few around the page as well. Now I did that off screen because it took a really long time, and I thought it'd be super boring for you to have to sit and watch. So you're just getting the full effect of them at the end. So I hope you like this layout. I hope it has inspired you to give something a go, and please check out another video soon.